sucker. And Jim Tucker, decades ago, was on the case when no one had virtually heard of the Bilderberg group, let alone what it connects to. And I remember in 1995, a long time ago now, that I went to my first Bilderberg location. It was in Switzerland, a place called Bergenstock. And Jim did a round-robin email to not too many people in those days saying the Bilderberg meeting this year is in Bergenstock, Switzerland. Story of my life since my head blew off in 1990. A few weeks earlier, I'd arranged to go and meet and stay with some friends in Switzerland about 2 hours away. So I went down on the first day. It was a big hotel, the three of them, the Park, the Palace, and the Grand. It was like something out of James Bond. And there were the guys with the name tags on and all that stuff, putting the fences up. There was virtually no one there. In terms of protest, no one. Jim must have been around somewhere, but I didn't see him. I then, during the actual event itself, when it started, went back. And this time you couldn't even get onto the mountain, never mind close to the hotels. Right in the far distance, you could not see where they were meeting. That's what happened in those days. Well, symbolism is very, very powerful because it visually gives you a fix on where we are. And Bilderberg and everything that it stands for is no longer at the top of the mountain where we cannot see it.
Hey!
We are in its frickin' grounds.
Hey!
And it ain't seen nothing yet. I think the best thing that you can do to understand the world and to understand yourself is to realize it ain't you that's mad, it's the world we live in, and it's the people who run it. That's when the penny drops, because what we've got is a situation where insanity has become normal, and this is how it happens. You're born into a madhouse, but you're told it's sane. You grow up in a madhouse. There's nothing that you ever see that isn't in the madhouse. And so to you, madness is normal. And when someone comes along and says, this ain't normal, this is madness, they say, you're bloody mad. And you know, the mainstream media, you know, bless their cotton socks, are going to have to come to terms very soon with a simple fact that the person they abused and ridiculed for nearly a quarter of a century was the one who was sane, and the world they believe in is what is insane. Once we realize that dynamic, the world starts to make sense. The world is upside down, and it's full of evil and slaughter and injustice for a simple reason. We, in our sleep up to this point, have allowed evil people to take control of our world. And it's stayed in control through secrecy and by keeping us in ignorance. But suddenly, the ignorance is dispersing. And what's left is the clarity of the situation we face. We live in a world that's upside down. We live in a world that is mad while masquerading as sanity. And I'll give you an example. It's a very topical one. We're sitting here, right? Well, I'm standing. Of the inversion of this world. Sitting here are thousands justice and fairness in the world.
Woo!